to do this. I was like, my greatest satisfaction in the military was getting to employ my weapon system. You know, a lot of people, you know, go their whole careers and never get to actually use the skills that they, you know, were trained.
Sure.
I got to do that. And as I rose in rank, you know, my opportunity to do that would be decreased. I would take on more leadership and more training responsibilities and less, you know, employment of the weapon system. I was like, I wanted to be somewhere to where, and you know, that I did, you know, I only employed my weapon system for, you know, 3 to 4 months, and I was in for 8 years. You know, I wanted to do something where I got to do more of the job that I was trained for. And so this job, I get to make a difference, you know.
Oh, that's awesome.
Daily. Yesterday, I knocked on 56 doors looking for a missing 16-year-old.
Wow.
And before that, I arrested, you know, 4 people in a warrant sweep late last week on it. So I get to actually do my job, you know, on the daily.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. And he runs a ranch.
Yeah.
And he still does races with his daughter. Dude, it's impressive.
As I say, there's a reason runners aren't ranchers and ranchers aren't runners. And I can throw in my day job, law enforcement as well. You wind up just doing 3 jobs bad and being triply tired. So,
you know, I have this, you know, in Avengers, the movie Avengers, when they ask him, when they asked Hulk, right?
Yeah.
Or Bruce Banner, when they asked him, they're like, so how do you just get the green guy to come out at any time? You know, don't you have to like make yourself angry? And he's like, I'm always angry. Right? So I have this saying now for me, I'm like, I'm always tired. You know, like I'm always doing stuff that it's like, I have the energy to do the stuff I need to do. You know, people are like, how do you just keep going and going and going? I'm like, I don't know. I'm always tired. It's not like,
it's not a new feeling.
It's not a new feeling. I just deal with being tired all the time.
You talking about that, about being angry. I got a young, he was a former Army captain that I work with. He's my partner, and about midday, and he came in with a monster. He'd been in the gas station, and I was cranking out on some paperwork stuff, and he set it down on me. He said, as I walked by, he said, I knew you needed that. He said, I think you're pretty much like me. He said, you live off caffeine, gas, food, and hate. And I was like, that is pretty much it. You know me well.
Nailed it.
Anger, caffeine, and gas station food. That's what fuels me.
But I remember on the last podcast, you said you watched a video of someone you ran with, like the ex cheerleader girl.
Yeah,
and
I remember that.
You watched that video and you cried. And so you have a soft side, we'll say.
Hey, he's human. He's human.
Yeah, no, you got me right there, because while I was waiting on you, I was checking my news feed, and this woman I'm friends with, Tiffany, she has a daughter with Down syndrome. I've never met her, but she just posts some funny videos of her daughter, and she was doing one. She had a memory from 2 years ago of trying to get her daughter to say mashed potatoes. And it's just about a minute at all the iterations of tomatoes, potatoes, potatoes, and everything. And it got me. I was laughing and crying on it, because I could feel the work that she was putting in to getting her to say that, and the work that her daughter was, putting in to say it. And then whenever she got it one time, you're like, all those fears from whenever she had the diagnosis to now, went away. Like, you didn't ever know if your daughter would be able to say mashed potato.
Yeah.
Here she was saying it, and I was crying, and I messaged her. I was like, I'm crying right here, over that. So there's a poem, and I'll put it on y'all's Facebook page, but it's a tear and a smile, and it talks about approaching life with a tear and a smile, and that life's a parting and a greeting and everything, and to be able to have those emotions, and to be able to show those emotions and own them. Like I own it. Like I cry all the time over silly stuff. It's going to be dogs and kids,
I know, right?
And dogs. That's it. I'm broke down and bawling, and my wife knows if she can look over at me, because she knows something's going to hit me. But I mean, what's the point in life if you don't own those emotions and show them?
Yeah.
Right.
You know, I don't want to be that guy that looks back and like, I never know how he felt. Like, no, you know how I feel. Like, you'll know if I'm upset about it or if I was happy about it or I was, sad. But I use those emotions to accomplish things.
Yes.
So,
Yeah.
Yes, to fuel your purpose. And I think that's excellent. I think
and approaching parenthood or, your day job, if it's, law enforcement or the military, you can't just passionately, do it. So you remember the reason why you joined that organization, bring that passion, daily, or at least whenever you need it and call upon it. That's, you got to have that emotion.
You do. And like to kind of further that, there's so many people in this life that have never even asked themselves those questions. They have no reason why. If you don't have a reason why, right? If you don't have a purpose for doing something, an intention for doing something, then it feels fruitless. It feels like you're lost. It feels like you don't really have anything. So like all it takes is just a question to ask, why am I doing this? What is my reason? What is my purpose behind me pursuing this endeavor or whatever? And it just takes a couple questions to ask yourself. And then guess what? It's easier to get through those hard days. It's easier to get through the work that you have to get done. Right?
No doubt. My why, the basis for everything, I boil that down, is to leave a legacy for my daughters. And whether that legacy is the ranch or it's a dad who spoke up for what he thought and tried to inspire others. And that's what, you bringing that up is, what I've heard is the one thing that you think you need that you already have inside of you. And the only way to get more of it is to give it away. So if you need love, you got to give love away.
That's true.
I need inspiration and I need motivation. So the only way I can get it is to try and give it away and try and be around people like you and to speak to others and to learn from others on the motivation, the inspiration. And again, it inspires me too I don't want to tell you the stories from 2000 and from 1996 when I graduated college. I've got some other cool stuff that I've done, recently, even, last week and Memorial Day. Is just getting those authorizations or tailoring it in a way that I can make it digestible and not get myself in trouble. But it's leadership, like I've got a group of guys down in a rural area that I work narcotics with that this time last year never had worked narcotics. And it's not only because of my leadership. Don't get me wrong. There are some go-getters, but they were hungry and they've gotten arrested 8 high-level narcotics traffickers that have gone on for about 6 years without anybody being able to get them. DEA or anybody. And it's not because they're super technical. It's because they're workers and they live there and they have vested interest in it. And so being around them and getting motivation from them, and it inspires me to do good things so I have things to talk about.
Yeah. Right.
That's awesome. Anyway,
kudos
to y'all. Thank y'all for keeping me engaged.
Yeah. So to kind of finish up, tell us what you have been doing this last how was 2020 for you? And
2020 was really no different than anything. Right as COVID hit March, I was like, I'm going to get in super great shape. I'm just going to run and up my running game. And
nothing's going to take me down.
Third day I blew my knee out. And I was, had that. And then I had shingles at the same time.
Oh, dude, that's that's horrible.
Yeah.
I know it was. So I rode the bike just to stay in shape. I had, we were off from work, and just teleworking, and another coworker in my town, he was at the donut shop, and he told everybody, he's like, here I was at the donut shop, and he said, I see Heath about 10 miles from his house on a bicycle. But I healed up real quick, and it didn't really change us, out here where we live, and with what I do, crime never stops. So
you're right.
We were at it the whole time. Didn't really faze us, but yeah.
All right. Yeah. We had a fun year. I feel like, I don't know. I feel like,
nothing really changed.
Nothing really changed too much. I kept my gym open. I closed it for about 3 weeks, and then I reopened it, and I'm like, I'm not going to do this.
Yeah.
And most of my clients, too, were like, dude, come on. We're not going to keep doing home workouts. Just reopen, dude. And I'm like, all right, let's do this. And, you know, we followed the stuff that they told us to, and, you know, we keep everything super clean and all that kind of stuff. But once I felt like I had the community of my clients on my side, I didn't feel the pressure of like the major cities that like all the other major cities were feeling a lot of pressure. That I knew so many gym owners that closed and then never reopened.
Yes.
And that sucks.
And
I'm like, dude, that's not going to happen to me. And Utah, I feel like we weren't hit nearly as bad as like California. There are a lot of places. Close. There are a lot of places where, I mean, I knew people that had their gyms, you know, open for 15 years and then closed down. And now because you close them down for a few months, they don't have the money to reopen.
Yeah.
They had to go find new jobs. And it's like, dude, that was like 15 years of your life that you dedicated to that. And then it's just gone.
Yep.
So some people it really affected a ton, but us like here, I mean, we stayed strong and we just kept going. And I let all my clients know, you know, everything that you choose to do is your choice. So you can, you know, choose to follow these mandates or whatever was going on. That's fine. I'm not enforcing anything in my gym. Yeah. So I let it be freedom of choice and it's worked out. So now this year, like we got, you know, more clients coming in and it's finally starting to grow again. So yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. Nope. That's, you know, everybody makes their own choice. Don't force your choices on me. I won't force my choices on you. But, you know, we all wound up getting it about Christmas and New Year last year. I ran every day. The only thing I couldn't taste anything. The kids all tested positive and were bouncing off the walls. Because how are you going to quarantine, you know, a family of 6 in the same house?
You know? Can't, man. You can't.
Like, oh, I will go. Let me go to this the summer house, or maybe we'll go to the winter lodge in Colorado. You know, like, we got one house.
Yeah, that's super hard.
Sure. Was it hard for you? Because I ended up getting it at some point. I mean, I didn't get tested, but dude, it was like, it was all the things that everybody said, and I lost my sense of taste and all that kind of stuff. But I mean, it felt like the flu to me. It was a little hard. Like it hit me a little bit harder, but I was like, you know, the last time I had a flu, which was like 15 years ago, I'm like, it felt about like that. So, but I mean, I'm not trying to downplay it. There were plenty of people that had pre-existing issues, and if they were already immunocompromised, it seems
like that's it hit
people really hard.
Hit,
and then other people, like my brother-in-law, he's like, dude, like I tested positive. I sat out in the sun for a day and went back to work. He's like, they wouldn't let him go back to work.
Quarantine.
And they're like, you can't come back for 2 weeks. He's like, but I feel fine. He's like, I'm not sick. But you know, that's just everybody. But how yourself? You said you lost sense of taste, but like, I mean, what did it feel like for you?
Maybe a little fatigue. My runs weren't as good, but like I said, I ran 4 miles every day.
We're still
during it, and back to that, you know, and not to downplay, you know, mine. Jennifer was in bed for like 2 days.
Okay, sure.
With like flu-like symptoms, and like I said, the kids were all tested positive, but bouncing off the walls. But some of those, and you know, some people have pre-existing conditions that, you know, immunocompromised situations that, you know, they can't do anything about. Right. But then some of those, you know, with hypertension or, you know, overweight or some other
those are lifestyle things.
Those things, you should address those on their own. You know, those are problems in and of themselves.
Yes.
You know, that, you know, you should address, and to where, heaven forbid, you know, I'm thinking down the road, like something comes back that's worse than COVID. Well, I would have learned my lesson and taken care of that pre-existing condition when we had the first little COVID thing that wasn't as bad, because there might be something way worse, you know, down the road. So make those make those lifestyle changes now and address those. Fight the things you can fight now.
I wish that was the focus. Like, in you know, just mainstream media.